Hey, gangway everyone, the insects are on the move. The fastest butterfly to flutter around is the skipper. These creatures can achieve speeds of up to 37 miles per hour and have some excellent quick reflexes. And speeding next to it is a fully grown horse. Not a horsefly, but a horse. It's galloping next to the skipper at the same speed. A cute little ladybug is in the way. Move, or you get trampled. The horse is getting closer, but the ladybug lifts off and flies right next to them, overtaking both the skipper and horse. Then it decides to land on the horse's head for the rest of the race. Even though ladybugs can fly at a maximum speed of around 37 miles per hour, they usually remain in the air for a couple of minutes. They can even fly as high as 3,600 feet in altitude. The horse is in the lead now. The skipper decides to land right on the horse's head next to the ladybug. It sticks its head to the tip of the horse's snout, automatically taking the lead. Hey, that's cheating! The desert floor is scorching under the burning sun. No wonder the Saharan silver ant is the fastest on Earth. It can even lift hundreds of times its own weight. If Usain Bolt, the fastest man on Earth, can run 4 strides per second, this tiny ant can run 50. If you look closely, you can even see its tiny legs gallop at high speeds. It reaches speeds of 2 miles per hour, which may not seem like anything if you're a giant human glancing from above. But down below, they're the speed leaders of the ant world. Out of nowhere, another bug sprints right by it, leaving a dust storm behind. It's the Australian tiger beetle, and it's one of the fastest land insects on Earth, and it can run at more than 4 miles per hour. Some beetles of the same species are even faster and run at around 6 miles per hour. Don't worry about its wings, they're just for decoration. It doesn't even fly. It doesn't need to. Yikes, a cockroach! These creatures can run up to 3 miles per hour. A little house mouse pops out of a corner and starts chasing the roach. These little critters can run up to 8 miles per hour. But the roach drifts and slides and creeps into little corners to outrun the mouse. A kitty cat leaps from the shelf and joins the chase, reaching 30 miles per hour. The cockroach and the mouse sneak escape outside. The cat goes back to licking itself and plotting against everyone. Centipedes don't have 100 legs, but they're still pretty creepy and rather fast. Millipedes, however, are really slow and don't even qualify for this race. Centipedes are carnivores and use venom to help catch prey, while millipedes feed on leftovers, plants, and veggies. When in danger, they just curl up into a ball. The centipede crawls ahead, thinking it's winning the race. The millipede rolls down the hill and overtakes the centipede. It passes the cockroach, who's still getting chased by the mouse. The downhill ends with a ramp, so the millipede rolls down and bounces up into the sky. A dragonfly can hit the 35-mile-per-hour mark flying, but the millipede soars past. A hawk moth flies through and catches up to the dragonfly. It can fly at the same speed, but the dragonfly overtakes it. They reach the forest and are zigzagging through the branches and leaves. They're both flying like alien ships in outer space, dodging all obstacles. The millipede lands on a tree branch and continues walking. A tiger moth caterpillar moves ahead of it at 3 miles per hour. The millipede curls up into a ball and hides out for the rest of the race. But the branch it landed on is moving. It's actually a stick insect, and even though they can't run fast, they can grow about 13 inches long. Underneath it, there's a fairy fly, which is considered to be the smallest insect in the world, being only 0.005 inches in size. That's even smaller than a mustard seed. It sprints on the tree branch and tries to outrun the stick insect. The dragonfly and the hawk moth are head-to-head. It's almost impossible to spot them in the thick forest, but the fastest animal on Earth swifts past them all at almost lightning speed. A bumblebee can fly at 33 miles per hour and flap its wings around 200 times per second. The honeybee can fly at 20 miles per hour and flap its wings up to 230 times per second. They speed through the flowers. The millipede is still curled up, hiding next to a couple of leaves and branches. The bumblebee takes the lead and is almost at the end of the field, but a giant Asian hornet pops out of nowhere and chases it back to the start. A giant Asian hornet can fly up to 25 miles per hour and is pretty aggressive. It starts gaining on it, but a bat appears out of thin air and swoops down on it, scaring it away. The horse with the skipper and ladybug run right next to the bees and they start flying down a hill. Out of nowhere, the millipede starts rolling down past the horse and lands on a log floating in the middle of a lake. On the surface are thousands of tiny water striders that can reach speeds up to 100 body lengths per second. If a 6-foot person were swimming, it could cover around 400 miles in an hour. Some frogs start chasing the water striders and easily pass them. A Goliath frog can weigh up to 7 pounds and jump as far as 10 feet forward. Some freshwater crabs swim quite slowly, but use their little legs to move from one rock to another. A swimming whirligig beetle tries to escape from the frogs paddling at an impressive 3 miles per hour. These tiny bugs have natural paddle-shaped feet in the middle and hind legs. A bunch of grasshoppers get startled and fly away. They're actually flyers, but their powerful legs give them the height they need instead of taking off from the ground. When in the air, they can reach speeds up to 8 miles per hour. They're on par with the house mouse, which has finally overtaken the cockroach. A flea isn't much of a sprinter, but it can hop its own body size by a lot. If humans could jump like fleas, then we'd be able to jump to the Empire State Building, which is 1,450 feet high, including its antenna. It wins the title for highest hopper around with the relative size. A mosquito can fly as fast as 1 mile per hour, while a typical housefly can reach 5. The housefly swifts past the mosquitoes and takes the lead to bother and buzz around you. But a bigger superfly horsefly flies by at 90 miles per hour. It outflies the housefly and mosquito and starts doing laps around them. Tiny mites are no bigger than a sesame seed, but they can run 322 body lengths per second. To put that into human perspective, it's the equivalent of someone running around 1,300 miles per hour. It zips through the whole race and has been running with everyone since the beginning, but we couldn't see it. The horse keeps running and ends up near traffic, miles away from the finish line. Is a giant house spider that can run at 1.2 miles per hour. A big Texas brown tarantula can be pretty speedy, depending on the temperature. The cooler it is, the slower but more stable they walk. When the temperature increases, they run faster but less coordinated. These hairy beasts are around 2 inches long and move about 4 body lengths per second at 62 degrees and 10 body lengths when it's hotter. Most insects are right at the end of the race. The horsefly and the bat are head-to-head, but the hornet is catching up. The tiger beetle on the ground is lightning speed away. They're close to the finish line. The frog leaps in front and almost catches up with the rest. A surprise swoop from the dragonfly and hawk moth overtakes the hornet. It's too hard to tell, but the millipede rolls past everyone and claims the gold.
There are sharks that glow in the dark. For example, swell sharks. They live in the dark ocean depths, almost 1,700 feet under the surface. No one knows why exactly, but they emit a fluorescent glow only other swell sharks can see. Scientists detected the glow because they used filters that blocked out yellow light. They think that could be the way for these big fish to communicate with their buddies. This glow helps sharks fight infections on a microbial level. Cowbirds have secret passwords they use to recognize each other. They're a specific type of parasite bird since they lay their eggs in other bird species' nests. The young cowbirds have an inner mechanism where they recognize their species singing, like some sort of secret password only they know. That's how they manage to find others of their kind. A grizzly bear has an incredibly strong bite. It may look cute, but if you're close to this big guy, you better stay out of reach of its sharp claws and especially its mouth. Its bite force is more than 8 million pascals, which means it can crush a bowling ball. Some animals have skin-deep stripes, and others have more superficial ones. Tigers are in the first group. Not only is their fur striped, but their skin is as well. It's the same with some other furry big cats, like snow leopards. Giraffes and zebras are in the second group, since they have patterns only on their coats. Speaking of zebras, do you think they're black with white stripes or white with black stripes? At first, it really looks like the second option is correct. Their black stripes mostly end towards the inside of their legs and on their bellies, and the rest of it is white. But that's not true. Surprisingly, they're black with white stripes. All of their fur, both white and black, grows from follicles that have something called melanocyte cells. All animals have these cells. They produce a pigment called melanin, and it gives color to their hair and skin. When it comes to zebras, chemical messengers tell which melanocytes send pigment to which area of fur. That's why zebras have a black and white pattern. But white is not actually its own pigment. It's an absence of melanin. So, black is their default color. Koalas have fingerprints that are so close to ours that they could even taint crime scenes. It doesn't seem like they have a lot in common with humans, but take a closer look at their hands. They have distinctive loops and arches. So if any koalas want to do something illegal, it would be a good idea for them to wear gloves. Ghost crabs growl when they're around creatures they don't like or find threatening. They do it using teeth in their stomachs. First, they'll let you know they'll defend themselves if you try anything by showing you their claws. If that doesn't work, they'll go for fearsome growling noises like dogs. But the noise is coming from rubbing their 3 elongated hard teeth inside their stomach. Ghost crabs produce the same noise when they're grinding up food. Speaking of teeth, did you know narwhal tusks are actually some sort of an inside-out tooth? Unlike the majority of other whales, narwhals are the ones that come with a large tusk, or tooth that grows from the inside of their jaw. It has up to 10 million nerve endings, and they're unprotected, which means its tusk is very sensitive to any type of contact. It's almost like a piece of skin, because tusks usually don't have many nerve endings. Up to 95% of humans are right-handed, and it's the same with bottlenose dolphins. There are even more right-handed ones among them than among humans. During one study, scientists found that bottlenose dolphins turn to their left side over 99% of the time, which means they're right-handed. They place their right side and right eye closer to the ocean floor as they go for prey, such as squids, shrimps, or smaller fish. More cool facts from the ocean. Did you know humpback whales use bubbles when they go after their prey? You might think they don't need any special method considering how large they are. But when they're lurking for prey in the open waters, these whales team up and use something called a bubble net technique. While swimming in an upward spiral, they blow bubbles underwater. These bubbles make it difficult for fish to escape. The oldest evidence we have of domesticated cats dates up to 12,000 years ago. Researchers discovered this almost 20 years ago when they were digging through an ancient village in Cyprus. They found cat bones right next to human ones, which suggested they were close even when their lives came to an end. Humans were hunters, so they domesticated dogs first, somewhere up to 29,000 years ago. Dogs helped them catch other animals, but they didn't think they needed cats until they started to settle down and store surplus crops. Mice became frequent guests in grain stores, so cats came in handy in those times. Puffins are quite innovative when they want to scratch their bodies. They can surely be proud of their stunning beaks, but they obviously think it's not enough for scratching. Researchers noticed they tend to spontaneously take a small wooden stick to scratch an itchy spot. There's a special type of ant that only lives in a small part of Manhattan. The Broadway medians at the 63rd and 76th Street is the area these crawling critters decided was the best spot for them. The Manhattan ant looks like it's from Europe, but no European species can actually match it. Hey Potterheads, can you believe there's a thing like chocolate frog? Well, not quite, but it looks like it. New Guinea and Australia weren't always separated. They spent millions of years together until about 12,000 years ago, rising sea levels divided them. Since they were together for so long, some animals and plants still inhabit both areas, including green tree frogs. These frogs have spread really far and wide, and some of them, who live in hot, swampy regions surrounded by plenty of crocodiles, actually look like they're made of chocolate. We all know flamingos for their specific color, but they're not actually pink. They're born gray, and that's how they would stay if it weren't for their diet of blue-green algae and shrimp. These foods have a specific natural dye, which is why flamingo feathers turn pink over time. These little Tasmanian devils grow up and leave their moms, They socialize together, forming bonds that last for the rest of their lives. Not only them, cows also have stronger social ties than we think. They like to socialize, and they make long-lasting friendships. One research even discovered their heart rates significantly increase as a sign of stress when they're separated from their BFFs. Imagine you could simply freeze yourself solid during the cold winter days instead of listening to your teeth chatter and trying to tighten your jacket. That's what frogs can do. Aquatic frogs mostly hibernate underwater and spend most of the winter at the bottom of a pond, lake, or some other body of water. Toads and frogs are generally cold-blooded, which means the temperature of their body takes on the temperature of their surroundings. So, frogs can freeze during the winter because of a high concentration of sugar or glucose in their vital organs. Once they unfreeze, they continue as if nothing happened. Octopuses have 3 hearts and blue blood. They can move at speeds of 25 miles per hour, and they spray ink that not only blurs the predator's visual field but actually harms them. Also, they have 9 brains, the central one and 8 smaller brains located in their arms. That's why their arms can open a shellfish while the central brain is busy doing something else. An octopus even tastes with its arms. They have cells in their suckers that enable the arms to touch and taste in a way that they detect chemicals marine creatures produce. That way, an octopus can distinguish prey from rocks.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.